The warehouse, once bustling with the rhythm of hard work and mutual trust, now echoed with the whispers of betrayal that hung in the air like an unshakable fog. I stood there, staring at the gaping hole of inventory worth $350,000, vanished into thin air, while Matt Thompson, the man I trusted not only with my business but with pieces of my life, smirked back at me, daring me to prove the truth he had maliciously orchestrated. I never envisioned my right-hand man, Matt Thompson, being the one to nearly dismantle Thompson Brothers Distributors, the business I had built from the ground up in the heart of Columbus, Ohio. At 34, I was finally witnessing the fruits of years of toil. We were a growing company dealing in top-of-the-line electronics, carving our niche in an increasingly competitive market. Matt, a decade my junior, was there from the beginning, his infectious enthusiasm and sharp wit a priceless asset. Our relationship had grown beyond professional bounds, cementing him almost as a brother. He knew every facet of the business as well as I did, handling our weekly inventory checks with a precision I admired. His diligence was so consistent that I barely spared those checks a second thought. As the holiday season approached, our orders skyrocketed, an exhilarating but challenging prospect. Matt was the first to step up, often staying late, assuring me everything ran smoothly. We weren't just business partners. We shared weekends fishing, barbecues at each other's homes, laughter and stories late into the night. Life seemed like a well-composed symphony, each note perfectly in place, or so I thought. Yet, as the weeks unfurled, subtle, discordant notes began to sound. It started innocuously enough on November 3rd when a couple of invoices didn't match the inventory records Matt provided. I chalked it up to a simple clerical error, brushing it aside. But the unease lingered, fed by Matt's increasingly frequent, hushed phone calls. He would step outside, voice low, avoiding eye contact in meetings, his gaze shifting just a bit too swiftly. On December 5th, I caught him dodging my questions, his once infectious smile now a hollow echo of reassurance. The unexplained expenses, however, forced me to pause. A hefty $15,000 was debited for shipping, an amount unlinked to any order we had dispatched. When I confronted Matt, he laughed it off with his usual charm, blaming it on a client's accounting error. "Don't worry, boss, I'll handle it," he reassured me with a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. Then came the Monday morning that shattered my world, December 15th. I decided on a whim to conduct a surprise stock take, a practice I hadn't indulged in for far too long. My steps echoed through the silent warehouse as I counted and recounted, each tally knotting my stomach tighter. The numbers were disastrously off. My heart raced, a cold sweat breaking as the discrepancy became glaringly apparent. Hundreds of thousands in merchandise missing, a void where there should have been substance. With trembling hands, I confronted Matt. "Matt, what's going on with these numbers?" My voice was taut, barely concealing the panic beneath. "What do you mean?" "Everything's fine, Tom," he replied, his calm unsettling, never meeting my gaze. I thrust the records at him, my voice rising with each word. "This isn't a clerical error, Matt. This is theft." Matt remained infuriatingly calm, a mask of neutrality crafted with care. "Tom, don't jump to conclusions. Let's just sort it out." The world tilted on its axis. This couldn't be happening. Not Matt. He was family, a brother, a constant. But as I delved deeper, each revelation was like a dagger twisting in my gut. He had been cunning, selling off stock under the guise of a ghost company with a pseudonym, leaving us with empty shelves and his pockets lined with our earnings. The betrayal was a masterpiece of deception, intricate and devastatingly thorough. Sleep became an elusive specter, my mind a relentless guardian of haunting memories of trust and brotherhood turned to ash. The sense of loss gnawed at my spirit, a relentless echo that left me paralyzed at times, unable to face the business and people who depended on me. Each night, as my eyes refused the solace of rest, the weight of betrayal settled deeper within me, a tangible knot in my stomach. Yet amid the despair, a spark flickered, a determination to reclaim what was mine. One sleepless night, as I stared blankly at a stack of invoices, clarity emerged from the haze. I could not let Matt crush my dreams. A resolve set in, hard as steel. I vowed to uncover every detail, to reclaim the life I had so painstakingly built. I embarked on a meticulous journey towards justice, enlisting the aid of Mark Jensen, a sharp-minded lawyer, and Sarah Leone, a private investigator whose reputation for detail was unmatched. Together, we began to weave a net of evidence around Matt's elaborate web of deceit. Every evening was dedicated to reviewing emails, inventory lists, and tracing each suspicious transaction back to the fake company Matt had created. Sarah's diligence was awe-inspiring. "We've got enough to pin him, Tom, but we need to catch him in the act," she assured me, her eyes gleaming with determination. And so, we devised a trap as elaborate as his betrayal, orchestrating a fake order through his ghost company, with a sting operation to capture the transaction. The plan was fraught with risk, hinging on precision and secrecy. Sarah set up surveillance, while Mark prepared the legal framework. The day of the sting was a tightrope walk of nerves and anticipation. I maintained a facade of routine, acting normal as I moved through the warehouse. Matt, unaware of the web closing around him, was in his office, seemingly immersed in work. When our bait email landed, he took it, hook, line, and sinker. His confirmation from the fake company was his downfall. With the transaction confirmed, I approached. My heart pounded like a beating drum, a war cry against the injustice. "Matt, let's take a walk," I suggested with a casualness I didn't feel. He looked up, surprise flickering across his face, but nodded, oblivious to the storm about to break. Outside, surrounded by the inventory he had greedily plundered, I confronted him. "I know everything, Matt. The fake company, the stolen inventory. It's over." He stood silent for a moment, the realization of his downfall dawning. The bravado melted, revealing a hollow shell. "Tom, I didn't mean for it to get this far," he stammered, desperation edging his words. "Save it." I cut him off, my voice trembling with a mix of anger and relief. "You've been caught. There are consequences, Matt." Sarah and Mark appeared, recording the entire confrontation. The evidence was irrefutable. Matt's face shifted from defiance to resignation as the officers arrived, the betrayal laid bare for all to see. He was led away, finally facing the justice his actions had earned. In the days that followed, the fallout was swift and brutal. Matt faced legal retribution in a courtroom packed with familiar faces, peers and clients who had once trusted him implicitly. His sentencing marked the end of a painful chapter, as though a shadow had been lifted from over the business. The legal battle to recover our losses was grueling but ultimately successful, and with each small victory, we began to heal. I poured my energy into rebuilding, implementing stringent security measures to ensure such a betrayal would never occur again. Initially, we downsized, regaining our breath, but slowly, business resumed its upward climb. The support from my team was unwavering, their loyalty unshaken by the storm. Our foundation, once cracked, emerged stronger, more resilient than ever. It was a laborious journey, but as I stood in the bustling warehouse months later, the sounds of productivity ringing joyously in my ears, I knew we had triumphed. I had triumphed. Matt's betrayal had brought me to my knees, but from the ashes, I had rebuilt, stronger and wiser. My life and business were transformed, free from the shadows of deceit. I learned an invaluable lesson: to guard trust fiercely, to cherish honesty, but never to fall into blind trust again. The warehouse, once a scene of desolation, was reborn, a hub of new beginnings and a